Howdy folks, sorry for having the wrong screen there for a few minutes. Not quite done yet, but I thought I'd let you know I am indeed streaming tonight. I had a little bit of work to do down at the shop where I'm at. It's a nice place, it's a really good shop. If you have the good fortune of having Picklemans in your particular area, definitely give it a visit. It's one of the best places I've had to work, and these folks, when I say these folks, I mean my coworkers, but also my customers are some of the best people that I've had the pleasure of working with, but also I've never gotten a complaint from the customers. Well, in 3 years, maybe a few times. It's been a long, hot, sweaty day for me, so forgive me if I take in a bit of water. Just got off of the job. Love you all very much. We are going to continue our going medieval game. But I tell you what, I don't want to just do these streams, of course. I play a wide variety of games. I would be interested in doing a segment called something like In the Kingdom this week, or something to this effect, where I can show you other parts of my realms, because I'm not just a gamer, after all. I am the Badger Lord, and I rule many, many realms. I don't just rule Tropico or in Civilization, playing as Kievan Drus. I rule in many other parts of the world. And I'd like to show you some of those parts if you are interested. Pardon me, I was just moving my chair. And I'd like to give you some previews, and if you're interested, you can comment and tell me some games maybe you'd like to see that I have or might be contemplating getting. One game I would like to get at some point is called RimWorld. I'm saving money so that I can get it, because I have many things that I need to buy. I recently bought a backup bicycle, because that's a thing that I do need. I needed to get to places I couldn't otherwise, or that would be expensive for me to do so. So RimWorld is not on the top of my list at the moment, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to play it. Alright, so we're going back to Market Arjour. With our solo run, who has been joined by somebody. One reason I'd like to get RimWorld is, well, because although the seasons in Going Medieval are lovely, and the architecture is equally so, it'd be cool to do slightly more varied things. Mind you, Going Medieval is getting quite good. This recent patch has introduced animals, which I'm not going to worry too much about for the moment. But for this particular run, I do have a dog, apparently. And I am preparing because I've been trying to play my monastery start in difficult mode, and I've been finding it very difficult to make that work. Sure, that's very surprising. See, well, I should explain why it's a bit difficult. See, when you don't avail yourself of bows for your main citizens, of course it's going to be a little more difficult than it normally would be. Now, my monks aren't pacifists. They do have weapons, but they're only staffs. And they don't always have the construction necessary to build traps, which is also a problem. And in difficult mode, you tend to be outnumbered, and they tend to have armor and quality weapons. So traps can be efficient, but not always. And sometimes if you're looking for just the right place to put traps, you may end up placing them inefficiently. And of course, with other archers, you just kind of need a ranged... you need something with range to deal with that. Now look at this, actually, this is pretty silly. Having a campfire on top of a tile of wicker is kind of stupid, I admit. So the obvious solution is to deconstruct the tile of wicker. Yeah, sure. It's probably not going to hurt anything anyway, but nevertheless, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So here we have our two boys here. Sigmund Elford, our first. The ill-favored. And Elfshot. Himself a restitutionist zealot. In pretty good health. And apparently quite decently satisfied. Yes, I do believe we had their initial needs quite well satisfied out here. He was out here alone because he got lost in his hunting party. Not to mention, he is a wanderer as well, so it was kind of just gonna happen anyway. I believe I wanted to make... Okay, and now Dior, who's this other fellow whom he found, who is the complete opposite religious alignment, an Oak Brethren zealot. Oh boy. But who, on the bright side, likes the sun. Okay, maybe that's not a bright side. But has an iron stomach. That's able to... That is a good trait. Atone. That's... Actually, that probably is fair to the point. Even pagans knew a need to atone for their sins. They might not have called it as much, but, okay. Before I deal with that, what about time? How's everyone feeling sleep-wise? Everyone is moderately well rested. They're not even incompetent. They're just trying to stay warm at this point. And half the reason I haven't turned the braziers on is because these saplings need to stay cool, as well as these seeds. I don't want them rotting. Mind you, it is getting close to the end of winter, so it probably is worthwhile to turn the heat on for a bit. Especially because these aren't going to rot for a very long time. Is the food going to rot, though? Fortunately, no. Good, good. Yeah. It won't start rotting until about 40 degrees. But as long as it's around freezing, it should be fine. Okay. And I'm going to turn barley off. Okay, good. It's off already, so that we can plant it in the spring. Alright. So what do we need to do now? What do these two lads need to do? Sigmund needs to research. Well, Dior, what can you do? Dior can not build. He could be a carpenter if we had the proper benches for stuff like that, which we don't. He's no good at studying. He could hunt some more, I guess, or fight if we had any, but we don't have anything to fight. It's too cold to mine. Well, or rather, there's just so much snow on the ground I can't tell what... I could just hover over everything until I find something worth mining, but... There's no one to trade with, and he can't tailor. Maybe I should make him cook more? After all, roasted meat will last longer anyway, so... But then again, if I just wait... And preserving meat is going to be a long time coming, so it might be worthwhile to cook some. Hold on a tick, man. Raw meat... And, sticks, wood, coal, yep. Go ahead and roast as much meat as you can, because, well, that's the only real way that I know of to preserve any of that. I do want to preserve some red currants, because while there are always plenty on the map, nevertheless, it doesn't escape me as a good idea to keep some close to the base in case something happens. Alright. Actually, it also occurs to me that this base may not be fully optimized. Okay, why have you... oh, right, yeah. Just cook meat forever until I tell you to do otherwise. Okay. Oh. Just cook one more meal and then go chop. Oh! Looks like he's gonna go cutting instead. Okay, that's fine by me. I have found that... ooh, boy. Let's get that guy before he's dead, and then get this guy. There's just not much to do at the moment, just because it is the bleak middle of winter. We haven't got much to harvest. Okay, and it is sleep time as well. I'm just gonna have you cook one meal before you go to bed. Thank you. That'll do. It'll decay in 2 days. It'll be fine. And a fox made off with some of it. Stupid fox, furry bastard. Yif in hell, fur. Nah, I'm not gonna finish that statement. Alright. Like I actually care about. Anyway, okay. So everybody's sleeping, everybody's well rested. He's not the happiest he could be, but then neither is Sigmund. Alright. We're gonna keep expanding this base so that we can make it A, more secure, but also B, more spacious. So the real breach at the moment that these two have to deal with as hermits... well, it's not really a hermitage if you're together, is it? Well, anyway. Our initial fort is doing alright, but A, it needs to expand, and B, it needs to be more secure. Food needs to be secured more so than it is now, and... Dayor, man. Wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. I've got shit for you to do. Get up. Thank you. Good thing I stopped you from having a bad dream. So this outer wall is fine as far as it goes, but I'm going to want/need workshops sooner rather than later. As when research picks up, we're going to want workshops of some kind. This outer wall is protecting our stores for the moment, which is good. What's the goal gonna be of this place? Well, the momentary goal I do know has been solved, which is good. Which is surviving the winter, establishing food production. which we more or less have, because we've got tons of meat and therefore tons of meals. I think the next thing I want to do is begin making some workshops. I do want a restitution chapel, but although this guy is a zealot... Excuse me a second here. Oh, jeez. Although this guy is a zealot, I do think preparing actual cook spaces and other such spaces is a good idea. I forget if I sent him out here to found a monastery or not. I probably did something like that, but being able to secure whatever land he needs in order to do new things, I think is going to be priority one, frankly. To that end, gonna build a nice set of wall around here. It's gonna be pretty broad, I must admit. Pretty large swath of wall. That'll do for the time being. All of this can be deconstructed later, of course, but this ought to be enough. This ought to be enough to contain the stockpile and everything else, but also to be able to house crops and protect them. And of course, later on we can build some workshops. Indeed, we might even be able to build a separate library / restitution shrine over here, so that we can research more things and then eventually build workshops off. I think we'll go with that plan. That sounds as good as anything. Gonna chop mature trees in the area, piece by piece. Don't want to chop down the growing trees because they won't give as much wood, and we want to get as much wood as we can. Maybe fewer saplings might not be so bad. And I don't want them to be chopping till Kingdom Come, so maybe that's enough for the moment, but... Oh, and of course must tend to the dog as well, so... Let's set at least one stockpile with... Well, shrink that thing. With a bit of meat for the dog. Make that a very high priority for the dog. At least I think that's how you feed dogs. I doubt they would eat all vegetable animal feed. At least I wouldn't dare feed a dog that. Because dogs are carnivores. I'm not stupid. You gotta realize that dogs are carnivores. I'd feel a little nervous putting wicker doors, but on the other hand... no, just put a wooden door up there. So you might be wondering why I'm walling like this rather than the way I've walled behind the house. Well, and there's a simple reason for that. I have not been paying attention to what I've been doing consistently. That's a pretty good reason for anything, after all. Ignorance, stupidity, and simple misattention is always a valid reason, even if it is a stupid reason. Also, I think I was looking more at the walls over here for guidance, the walls with the doors to kind of pen this area in, so maybe I was focusing more on that. Never mind. That's easily solved. At least here it is. Yeah, this is This is exactly what I meant to do. Yeah, sure. That's the line we're going with here. I meant to do that. Yep. Sure. Sure I did. Anyway, we'll make this work. It'll work fine. It won't be pretty, but it'll work. Alright. The wall there, I probably don't need supports underneath all this, but I might still want to put them under anyway. Yeah, actually, you know what? No, we're not gonna put supports under this. Because why do you need... Oh, you do need supports there. Well, that's unpleasant. But not a problem. We can make that work. Hopefully. Just need to get one of you to go over here and build this wall. No, don't deconstruct a wooden floor. Construct that wall. Let Dior have his meal. Alright. We'll have Sigmund do his offices, since we now have some leisure time. Dior can be a filthy pagan who doesn't pray to God and do whatever he likes. I won't force him to work, but I also won't force him to pray either. Is that the bigotry of low expectations? I don't know. For the moment, it's a workable solution to me. I'm sure if the issue comes up, I can make him work if I need to. Because these two need each other to survive, and sometimes you've got to put up with other people who don't see things the same way you do. Because that's life. Actually, it does occur to me I can actually improve this somewhat. Come on. Yeah, nah, that's fine. Cancel all of those. That's a little weird, but okay. Yeah, but that's necessary to get that done. Okay, so he's constructing that. Hopefully he won't wall his dumb ass in. I don't think he will, but... How's the dog doing, by the way? You know, if I could see more stats of the dog, especially how hungry he's getting, that would be very useful. Hey, Bud. Hey, Bud. Can you please go construct that wall, please? Thank you. Keep marking trees for him to hew down. Honestly, dead trees aren't that much of a problem. Oh, you dumbass. Oh, Sigmund, you idiot. Deconstruct that so you can get your dumbass out of there. Oh. You know, there is one problem with these villagers, and I've heard it told in RimWorld as well, that villagers sometimes, or pawns as they're called there, are sometimes rather stupid in constructing multi-level walls and end up walling themselves in. And you have to micromanage, and it's kind of a nuisance. Which is unfortunate, because otherwise it works rather swimmingly, frankly. These two are working together fine. Dior is very good at chopping, and Sigmund is very good at building. They both need each other. One needs to build, and the other needs to make use of the resources available. And the circle of life continues in its unusual way. Going pretty well so far, though. We will have a wall up, well, at least by the end of the episode, I think. Probably sooner, I think, though. Alright, let's realign some things here, make everything line up nice. Alright, nice, nice. Do they even have predictive wall? If so, it's not quite functional, but I don't think they do have predictions for what makes wall patterns work, but for how corners should go and all that, but that's alright. You don't need these things. It's just part of the micromanagement, and it's kind of fun, too. Okay. Winter's still not quite letting up. But as the last snow of winter comes down, for by God's grace there shall be no more after tomorrow, and hopefully not after today. Oh, wait a minute. Do I have arches up among any of these? No? Why don't I have arches up? I mean beams. You know, beams. Alright. Construct some wooden beams, man. Practice your construction so that you can get good. Get good at construction so that you can build a roof over this. Nicely done. And I'm just gonna force you to round out these beams, and I don't care how often you fail. Just do the best you can. And if you can't, well, that's not unexpected, frankly, because this is a very wood-intensive project. Oh, cute young tree. Young things are always very cute. I'm not sure why it is. Maybe it's a defense mechanism to make sure you protect them. I don't know. Creatures are stupid like that. We protect things that are cute. Because we're drawn to cuteness. Some people are drawn in very unproductive ways to cuteness. I mean, gosh, if you've ever been on the internet for more than 5 minutes, you know that. Don't need me to tell you that some people really like cuteness in unuseful ways. But what's something else you notice about the world that if any of you have any things that you'd like to see this monastery or this hermitage or whatever this thing is do, please let me know. Don't just let me cannibalize all of the social interactions with these guys. Although it looks at the moment like presently they're just gonna play some Backgammon. I kind of wish there were more things to do. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Get out of here, you stupid thing. Hunt. That meat is indeed for the dog. I wonder if there's any such thing as a kibble bowl or something. Well, never mind. For the moment, we're just gonna focus on trees. Because that's the thing we need to focus on. We need to get this wall up. What if a raider comes by? I've already tried doing my monastery twice and losing guys because I didn't really actually have a way to defend them. Actually, I want to take a moment to look at this tree here. Scots pine. Let's look at the info, or description. The largest Caledonian tree, tall, straight, flexible for masts and planks, planted to mark the graves of wandering Scots. Fascinating. The Scots pine. That thing just matured. You just saw it. And now we're going to make it firewood. Because this is what we do. We're going to see a lot of trees mature soon here. Actually, it does occur to me, maybe we should be making Sigmund research. Maybe that's more important than construction. As important as construction is. Maybe I'll let Dior do some construction, practice that so he can get good at something. Because although he's good at cooking and cutting trees in general, and he's also a natural hunter, and are we having him cut plants too? Yeah, let's stop that. Okay, go ahead, cut that tree down. Cut that tree down, go do your office. Do the divine office for a bit, and then, yeah, go research. Alright, excellent, excellent. Actually, it does occur to me that that's maybe not an ideal place for a door, because that opens right on the stockpile. I should maybe build the door... Well, let's have a look here. Well, if we're going to keep the farming in here for the moment, what ought we focus our attention on? Maybe this clay over here, as well as... this iron vein? Unfortunately, we've already built the wall here. Maybe just for the moment, just build a couple of doors here. I don't know what else to do, maybe. I think that'll do. Go ahead and practice constructing a bit, Dior. Well, Sigmund finishes off the next 20 books so that we can get agriculture and use these seeds before they rot away. Not that they're going to very quickly. 47 degrees inside. Things aren't going to rot for a very, very long time. Not even close to freezing here. Yeah, no. We're well on our way to self-sufficiency here. How long before we have architecture? We need 10 books for architecture. How many books do we have? We have 23. We need 7 more books before we can get agriculture. Agriculture, that's the one I actually wanted. Herpaderp. And we've got shit tons of sticks. We'll get rid of those soon enough. How many do we need? We need... Okay, cool. And finally we can plant shit. Excellent. Which we really 100% need to get into because spring is coming. It's never too early to plant. Alright, so first things first. Let's lay out a field of cabbage, which is nice and easy to plant. 5 cabbage there. Alright, flax. Flax is always a pretty big crop. Plant 12 of those. Carrots. How many have we got of those? We've got 5 of those. Barley, we have not got very much of that, but I want to make sure we have plenty, so I'll lay at least 10 for the moment. Herbs, we probably... I don't think we have anybody who's capable of doing that yet. 7 versus 10. Yeah, don't worry too much at the moment. Shrubs. Red currant shrubs. Red currants are also important, so we'll lay 10 of those. Okay, and then finally we've got a bunch of trees here. We should definitely replant. Question is where? probably over by these red currants here. I'm just gonna lay little strips over here. Little 2x1 strips, just to make the saplings go a little further. And then an apple orchard. We've got apple saplings. Excellent. How many do we have? We have one. That's fine. Alright, well, that being the case, let's go ahead and grow some shit. I'm gonna keep Sigmund on... I'm gonna give Sigmund equal priorities in construction and growing, so... Yeah, because, I mean, they both have pretty equal botany skills, so... Frankly, it really should be Dior gardening at the moment. But of course, yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I'm actually trying to do. Although they're both gonna garden for the moment, which is fine by me. Because there may be robbers, but we're more or less prepared. And the general direction which we're probably going to expand it... I don't want to expand into the stockpile here and leave that vulnerable for a second, so probably not over there. I think maybe I want to sequester off this garden so that nobody can get into it, or rather nothing, which leaves the natural place to expand being over here. Right over into this area. Along the area where this tree is growing. That only makes sense to me. I don't expect to be stripping down too much wall to be doing that, but... Man, I am just feeding this damn fox over here. Go hunt it, now. Get it the hell out of here. What are you Oh, man! Dior, you fucking idiot. Nah. Sorry, but I told you to attack it, not... Well, never mind for the moment, I guess. Davy's enjoying roasted meat. Good on him. Davy Crockett. Dior, you moron. Now, have you convalesced yet? It looks like he kinda has, but... Okay, his wounds just need to be tended again. For pity's sake, eat it. Frankly, we've got more than enough sticks, honestly, so the focus really should be on wood more than anything. So, you're doing alright, you want wit. Just go chop for the moment. So I told him to grow first. Maybe that was a mistake on my part. I want him to chop at the moment. I can never quite discern what I want to do with these guys, but never mind. For the moment, he's going to plant some trees, so that we'll eventually be able to get some more back, but let's try and finish off this wall. If we can finish off this wall and the flooring above it, we'll be in a pretty good position. We'll have a primitive but effective stockade. And look who's fucking back. Get out of here. Off, 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 off. Alright, okay, so you can't hunt, but he will defend. And can we get the dog in on this, please? Is there some reason that he hasn't been gotten in on this yet? Okay, back to your work. Alright, nice! So that's one scavenger that I can put to rest, finally. Thank goodness. Bloody nuisance he was. Well, okay, now that you've earned yourself a new battle scar, I think it's justifiable for you to go convalesce. A bitten forearm, especially from a wolf, is no laughing matter. I don't know if they have rabies yet, but if they don't, they should. Sigmund, you idiot, what are you doing? Go tend to... Thank you. Thank you. He is also your colonist. You need him. Make sure he doesn't bleed out. That's very important. It may only be a bitten forearm, but please, for the love of Mike. Sheesh. Alright, well, that being the case... Alright, time to go chop some trees. You may not be very good at it, but we need you to do it anyway. 'Cause you're one of the few creatures who can. My, he was gone so fast there I almost thought, crap, is that a deer? Forgive me, my eyesight is not very high resolution either. Alright, but this guy, okay, so Dior, he has bravery. I can't say that he has wits, because he has gotten knocked unconscious by a fox, and he has tried to fist fight a wolf, rather than, say, hunted from the nearest wall, but... Dior, you're so well rested that you have no excuse not to do something. Go finish this wall, you chump. Come on. No. We're gonna force you to finish off this wall just to keep that fox out, because that's the most effective thing to do at the moment. You'll heal up fine. Alright. Are the other walls constructed for the moment? Yes, good. That means that we can keep animals that are not Davy Crockett and our 2 humans out. Okay, we can keep those guys out, and we can keep everyone in more or less good health. And feed the dog at the same time. Sigmund, don't eat dog food. Mind you, he probably doesn't see it that way. He sees animal feed as animal feed, no doubt, but... in which case... speaking of which, though, how are we doing for meat? We got... oh yeah, we got plenty of meat. I wonder if we could make kibble, because we can make animal feed, but we can't make any kibble, because we'd need vegetables to do that. I want to see whether it would eat animal feed. We'll see. I want to try that. Not because I think the dog would be receptive to it. I mean, I wouldn't be if I were a dog. If I were a dog, I'd want to eat meat. I would want to eat roasted meat. I wouldn't want to eat stuff with just vegetables and hay in it. That would not be appetizing to me. But what do I know about dogs? I don't know anything about dogs, so... maybe dogs will eat. I mean, maybe the dog that was portrayed in The Good Family, Mike Judge cartoon, you may have... okay, and if you've never heard of Mike Judge, he's the fellow behind A, Beavis and Butthead, and B, King of the Hill. So, if you've heard of those cartoons, The Good Family was done by that guy, the guy who created that. Not the best of cartoons, it was kind of an interesting one back in the, I believe, the mid-2000s, about kind of this vegetarian, social justice-y family that adopted a kid from South Africa who turned out to be white, actually. So, they did indeed have an African kid, but he's white, and he doesn't know or care anything about it. Oh, and the reason I bring up dogs is because they also had a dog who they fed vegetarian feed, and this dog is the cause of the disappearance of various squirrels in his neighborhood. So, and do they know? Do they care? I'm not sure, but they seem in denial to me. It only lasted for a season. I wonder if he could make a comeback with that series under present circumstances. This I know. Dior's been sleeping way too damn long. You need to get up. Does he have a trait or something that keeps him down? No, he's a sun seeker. Why are you sleeping, you idiot? Get up, get up, get up, get up. Come on. You're a tempered soldier. Okay, I'm seeing a pattern develop here. So a soldier who... found his niche as an ironmonger, as someone who'd seen gruesome battles. You guys are both military men, so someone who learned a lot, and okay. But you guys should both be military men, because a marshal is a military position. I'm not exactly sure why that doesn't show up in the background. Maybe it's because you're also a fool. A very intellectual fool, I might add. As so many intellectuals are. Many intellectuals are very foolish, and they forget that's part of what makes them A, entertaining, but also B, worth listening to. Being a bit foolish is not a bad thing for an intellectual. The problem is when you act foolish but think you're being wise. You should never, ever be afraid to admit your shortcomings. Humility is a virtue that A, makes life worth living, because otherwise you're going to have expectations shot down constantly, and that's no way to live. And B, humility lets you learn from other people, and to pass on what you've learned in a way that other people can hear, even if they're not willing to accept it, but they can at least hear it, and you're not the cause of them not accepting it. It's very clear that they are the cause of them not accepting it. For instance, in a book that I read recently, or that it was adapted into an audio play, and I've read it, I've heard that audio play several times. But I also recently picked up the book, and in that book, which is the basis of that audio play, there is a poet who finds out that a military engineer is drawing plans of a place that he calls home, and he draws attention to this as a jest. He makes fun of the fact that they're doing it, and the military engineer enragedly takes offense at the accusation. Nobody takes this as a sign that this is actually true, out of politeness' sake. But everybody knows that that's pretty much what they're doing, that the military engineers at this abbey that the poet, among others, is staying at, they're drawing up plans to get an idea of how valuable it would be militarily. They just don't want to draw attention to that fact, and when you're busy trying to run away from facts or to hide them from people who might not like them, you tend to get very angry when those facts are brought to light. And you get angry because you're proud. Because you think it's your right to be able to pull the wool over some people's eyes. Or if not that, you think it should be your right to, if you're not humble, not have people act like they've found you out. Humility enables us to play games with words, and to be wrong, and to be found out as wrong, and to not be hurt by that. Humility enables you to experiment, because, well, when you're trying to do something and you can admit that you were wrong in doing it, it becomes easier to do things that wouldn't otherwise be done. The worst sort of really conservative person is the proud person, because that person is unwilling to change anything about his personality or anything that he does, lest it disturb his own self-image. Speaking of which, these two, this marshal and this soldier, are having their own self-images disturbed, in particular Dior, is having his image disturbed because he's very thirsty. And he doesn't have anywhere to worship at. Because Sigmund here will not build such a place. And will not supply him the wherewithal to do that either. So he's getting a bit annoyed. For among other reasons as well. Frankly, maybe it's just me, but I think the thing to do at the moment is to reduce the importance of research and focus on other things. So Sigmund is currently gardening a bunch of trees. I'm not sure that this is a good use of time. Maybe it is. Good. Towards that end, I think I'm gonna have Sigmund stop gardening for a second and have him realize we need to keep up research so that we can cure meats rather than just cooking them. And when we're able to cure meats, we'll be able to preserve them for much longer. For a year or more, or at least for a few weeks, even outdoors. Which is effectively keeping it alive for a year or more. And speaking of which, is anything rotting at the moment? No, it's 36 degrees and everything is still pretty hunky-dory. Which is very good. Okay. Shut off meat meals for the moment. Everybody go to sleep for now, you knuckleheads. Things are planted, they're growing. I wonder if we've got any wild barley around on the map. We probably do somewhere. If we do, we should definitely harvest it. So that we can have more than 2 barley plants, which are not enough. Roasted meat is fine and all, but bread is something we definitely do want to invest in. I'm thoroughly convinced of it. Bread is highly important. Being a restitutionist, I wonder if they will implement what Catholics would call sacraments, or anything like a sacramental. Maybe it won't have real capabilities in the terms of this game, but having bread and wine that can become psychologically important elements within the context of this game would be nice. I think that would be a good move. A good role-playing move, but maybe that's just me. What's a job that we could have him do that he'd like doing? Hunting is the only job. Well, no, cooking is also a job that he likes doing, fortunately. I say we have him do that and we just, you know, push the brakes on construction for the moment. Instead, let's have Dior Brock. Oh, I didn't notice that was his last name. Brock, in Gaelic and in other languages, means a badger. And, of course, as the Badger Lord, therefore I should have a little more sympathy for this guy, I think. I should have some more sympathy for this guy as a fellow Brock. I am not... By the way, my name is not Brock, of course, but it is Patrick. And I am the Badger Lord, or the Brock Lord, I guess, if you like. So, you know, I should be a little more sympathetic with this guy, I guess. I wonder if I should make him make lavish meals. Since we've got plenty of herbs as well, and we're not going to be able to plant them for a while. Actually, no. Actually, it's for just that reason that we shouldn't make him use herbs, precisely because we don't have any more herbs, and we may need it for medicine. So, yeah, no. Alright, so Dior's annoyed. He doesn't want to be dealing with this at the moment. I'm gonna down prioritize everything except for cooking for you, because you need something to do. You need something to do, and frankly, we need more food. Because if we just have raw food, things are gonna get ugly. And I don't want them to. Okay, so are you cutting up that fox? No, not yet. I think he's cutting up that wolf we had earlier. It would certainly seem to be the case. Okay, and we've got some red currant pies. Nice. Who doesn't love red currant pies? I really wish we could cook some rough wine, but to do that... Oh, crap. What do we need to do that? We would need at least fermenting. Is cooking also a... Serving food, chemistry... I'm not sure. But probably at least fermenting and the wherewithal to make berry juice into rough wine, I imagine. Just a guess. Dior is getting a little bit happier, which is good. And now what have we got here? A third fella who's hungry. Well, it's a good thing that you came during this season. Alright. When Andrew arrived, his bones were prominent, and his hair fell out in clumps. Market Arzur people stared at this wretched, starving soul. Desperation was writ on Andrew's face, and he pleaded, "Would you take him in?" Of course! We need more people. He's a good miner, he's good with carpentry, he's a fucking heretic, though. An uprooted roofer, so he's probably at least a little decent with construction. The ghost of something or other. But he does have a few... Okay, we could work with this. Okay, but that being the case, apparently we do now need an Oak Brethren place. And more beds, too. Man, this place is getting cramped. This is... some people will say this ain't what I signed up for. Not exactly what I'm saying, but... Alright, so... Cool-headed moment here. So they agree to have him in, but... Dior is like, well, now you have to provide us the wherewithal, because there's two of us and there's one of you. And she's like, no, this is wholly consecrated ground to our Lord and Savior, who was our restitution for us. They eventually argue and bicker and talk about it and all that. And they eventually come to a compromise. He's like, you know, alright, if you must have an altar, very well. If you must have an Oak Brethren shrine where you can worship your silly totems, very well. But since your religion is about worshipping nature and that sort of thing, how about you build it outside of the walls? To which they'd say, oh, we'd just prefer a sacred grove anyway, frankly. That's how we communicate with the gods, but... Well, if we must have a shrine, as the mechanics of this game so wearily demand, well then. Very well, we'll put it outside in this dirt clump over here. To which Sigmund is like, alright, looks like we've reached a decent compromise here. They shake hands. The two uneasy with the one and his apparent overbearing dogmatism, and the one uneasy with the two, and A being outnumbered and B seeing them not see the truth in something which is verity, I gather. I don't know what the lore is in this game, so I don't feel at liberty to comment, but... For all I know, this could be a Protestant religion, which... Okay. But that's a story for another time. I wonder if we can build a sleeping spot just for the night, just over here. Well, Andrew, if you're gonna be here, you're gonna have to build your own sleeping spot. Can you do that? No, no, no. Our sleeping spots are indoors. You can sleep there for the moment. Hey, shouldn't you have... To which Deor's like, hey, shouldn't we have Christian charity to this guy? Well, I'm not giving up my bed, says Sigmund. You can give yours up if you'd like. Fine, says Deor. I will. I'll be more of a Christian than you ever were. Yeah. Sigmund is not a very good man. He's alright, but he's not the best. We tend to be like that. Well, and also consider Sigmund is a bit ill-favored. He's also elf-shot, which means he does need more care, frankly. Alright. So all things being equal, let's have a look at this guy. Let's get an idea of his traits, see where he could be useful in the colony. Okay, so he has double for animal handling, so if we ever decide to tame anything, it should definitely be him who tames it. Okay, what else? He does have some medicine skill. We should definitely have him convalesce as needed. Don't hunt, because you're no good at that. Construction, absolutely. Growing, you're as good as anybody. Harvesting, probably a little better. Cutting, probably even better there. And we will have gardening continue just so that we can have things continue. Smithing, okay, he is a competent smith, though Deor is more so, but Andrew actually gets a buff from it. We should have Deor focus on hunting and on... what was his other favorite thing? Cooking. We should have him focus on those things and nothing else. Andrew should be our designated miner. He should not tailor very much. Though nobody here is particularly good at it, so he's as good as anyone, I guess. The one thing, though, is it is without a doubt that our most intellectual one is Sigmund. Sigmund is kind of... how do I describe this? Well, he's a restitutionist because he's smart, because he knows what he's doing. He's done the research. He became a marshal because, well, he knew tactics, and, well, but he also did research on the faith, and so, yeah, he knows. He may not be in touch with his feelings, he may be a lonely and kind of asinine fucker, but you know what? He may be an unhappy fella, but hey, he knows why he's unhappy, and he knows what it will take to make him happy. And it's not anything you can give to him. It's not anything that normal people would consider making their life worth living. It's becoming a better person, and he knows he's a bad person. Sigmund is a restitutionist because he knows that his restitution is not to be found in demanding justice from people who can never give him justice. He's not insane like that. The thing you learn is when justice isn't something that you can squeeze out of a person because people are not fully capable of justice. They can have a sense of it, but they can never fully make good on justice. Well, because it's like this. Okay, St. Philip Neri actually had a pretty good example of why justice isn't just something that you do. Wow, these two are sleepyheads. What the hell are you doing? Go to bed. I mean, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. There's shit to do. Why are these guys sleeping for so long, I wonder? That's really, really stupid. Is it because they don't have their religion? Ah, well. Okay, but St. Philip Neri. So, there was a woman who confessed to him. He was a Catholic priest. There was a woman who confessed to him about gossiping, and he said that for her penance, she should take a feather pillow and empty all of the feathers out of it, and then get every single feather back. I believe she said something to the effect of, that would be impossible. How am I supposed to get every feather back as it flutters away in the wind? To which he said, well, that's what gossip does. When you gossip to another person, you cause an innumerable number of things to happen that you have no control over. And you can't fix all of them. You probably can't fix most of them. And so everything that we do that isn't right tends to be the same way. And we do a lot of things that aren't right. We hate other people, we judge other people. That is, we decide to do things with other people before we've even met them, because they look a certain way or they talk a certain way. And I don't just mean they have a funny accent like this particular idiot talking to you here. I mean they say things that you assume certain sorts of people would say, and what you do with those certain sorts of people is already made up in your mind. If somebody talks about politicians or about morality a certain way, instead of trying to figure out why they think the way they do, you presume either that you need to tell them what the right thing is to do, or you presume that the only thing to be done with them is to tell them that they're bigots, or that they're horrible people, or they're worse than Stalin or Hitler or whomever the horrible person de jure is. De jure? Actually, this has nothing to do with law. De facto. Anyway, not important, I guess. Is everyone all right? Wow, why do we have so many zealots, man? It's crazy. But anyway, okay. But when you judge other people, what was I getting at? Okay. What was I getting at? Crap. I was just kind of rambling there, as I tend to do when I don't have anything else to talk about. Okay. But now that let's get back onto the topic of our playthrough here for a moment. So we got 2 army guys and we've got a roofer. Let's read a bit more about him, just so that we got an idea of this guy whom we've now took in, who has nothing better to do with his time. Let's pause for a second. Actually, no, let's keep them running for a bit. Okay, so Andrew felt that his dizzying head for heights was a divine gift to be used in architectural celebration of our Lord. He's a pagan. Working among the angels on the great spire of Salisbury Cathedral was the pinnacle of his career. May want to rewrite that if you're gonna have pagans. I may suggest that to them. When the world changed, Andrew despaired. Seeing villagers die was bad. Watching the Treharris sheep succumb was catastrophic. Andrew did his best to ease their suffering, slitting their throats at any sign of infection. Without livestock or livelihood, Andrew fled. Well, okay, maybe that can be read in a different way. Maybe it can be read, career-wise, he was a good roofer. Maybe it wasn't a religious thing for him, and maybe he lost it. But then why did he become a zealot? Maybe, okay, and I am still trying to focus on wood to keep these guys content with their time here, because there's actually a majority of them, and that would make sense for them to do. Meanwhile, Sigmund's continuing to write, and he will get... I say we get fermenting because these guys need a drink, I think. I would want a drink. Okay, but let's keep reading about Deor here. The ghost of Treharris. Andrew was pale and silent and loitered in dark alcoves. Seldom spoke and often seemed to appear out of nowhere, startling people. Andrew was actually a bit creepy, seeming to have more in common with the dead than with the living. That is a bit creepy, actually, now that I think of it. He is a churl, mean and surly, barely even civil, hard to work with, harder still to befriend. Maybe I need to rethink his dialogue a bit, the initial dialogue. Maybe he was the one who was being insistent upon the shrine. That seems likely to me, actually, now that I think of it. Okay, my bud. My bud, let's give you something to do that you're gonna like doing, okay? How about doing some cooking? Can you cook some more shit for us? Since we now got 3 guys here, let's cook 18, yeah. And let's cook more meat, since we don't really have a way to preserve it as yet. That'll make you a bit happier. Actually, Andrew, since you have the resources, go ahead and build that shrine that you're so surly about. Sigmund was not pleased with the worship of the elder gods, but as a Christian, he understood that his brethren may need to deal with some things that he doesn't have the wherewithal to deal with at the moment. He realized they'd probably also slit his throat if he tried to deny them it, and realizing he liked to be alive, and also that if he were in the same position, he would not want to be so denied. I need to think about this a bit more. Because I know what positions I'd usually take, but I can't think of them off the top of my head for some reason. I'm not good at doing that. In the Middle Ages, did they have a concept of free speech, I wonder? I am legitimately uncertain whether they had a concept of free speech. I suspect not entirely. I'm not even sure that that was a concern of theirs. See, for a very long time in human civilization, the question of what your point is in life depended a lot less on you and a lot more on things around you. You didn't owe your life to God because you have a right to worship God as you see fit. You had a duty to God because of what He did for you. Or you had a duty to the gods because they brought you into existence and they damn well could take you out of it. Sometimes quite literally damn well. Send you to Tartarus or to the place of the infidels or something like that. And not care a bit about you. The thing about the pagan gods, they could be very, very arbitrary. It is not to say that the pagans were... well, is wrong the term I want to use? The pagans recognized that there was a real power in the pagan gods. There was something really at work in nature that needed to be acknowledged and treated with respect. Even if it wasn't something they liked, it was something that they knew they needed to give their attention over to. In that respect, I can respect paganism, insofar as it's a movement on account of recognizing power where it is. I can kind of respect it. As a matter of truth, well, again, insofar as we're talking here about... Again, insofar as we're talking about people here who were coming up against a power greater than themselves, and they recognize that, and out of fear for their lives, if not simple respect, they deferred to that power. I mean, I can respect that. That is sort of a matter of following the truth. If you come across something that's more powerful than you and you can't control it, it does kind of make some sense to let it control your life. And paganism kind of sometimes does that. Christians are in a similar situation with their God. Yeah, no, we can respect people who come across something that's more powerful than them and acquiesce to it. The problem we have with paganism isn't necessarily that it's incorrect. Some Christians do. There's certainly plenty of writing in St. Paul that says the idols don't actually exist. On the other hand, Augustine did admit that they existed, but that they were evil, so take your poison. In Roman Catholicism, we don't pay attention to the idols, though, because life is not about the gods. It's about the one true God who really became flesh, who has historical markers to back up his existence in history, and who not only claimed to be God within history, but who also rose from the dead. That's what we were on about a few months ago with Easter and with Lent. Now, you may not agree with that sentiment. You may believe it's false. We can only provide the evidence that seems to make sense to us. And it seems to coincide with other forms of evidence we'd have for other historical events at that time. We have authors who attest to battles and to the existence of people who are maybe alone in their testimony of those people, or... I mean, make of it what you will. If you're not a professional historian, I don't blame you. If Christianity is not a serious concern for you, it is partially for me because I take history seriously. But even if you do and you deny Christianity, but you respect something else as really being powerful, and not just your own whims, I can respect somebody who sees something greater than themselves and gives themselves over to it. There's some hope in that. I'm not even gonna broach the politics of the day. That would be foolhardy. But suffice to say, I get it. People see something that really does good in their lives, and they give themselves over to it. As these guys have given themselves over to the elder gods and to nature. Let's read about the Oak Brethren for a bit. Here, followers aligned with the Oak Brethren gather to pray. That's not the kind of crap I was looking for. Come on. Help me out here. Help me to understand your little occult. Okay. A hallowed space simply decorated with the gifts of Mother Earth, a place to connect with the seasons, become one with plant and animal healers, to listen for the sacred in all things. There's something in this. I understand that some people like the Franciscans for just that reason, because they feel that there's something in that. In this whole appreciation of nature thing. Sigmund, when he considered what the Black Robes had done with nature, when he considered what the Franciscans had done, the Order of Friars Minor, couldn't help but have a little sympathy for the Oak Brethren. True, their totems may have been crude and square, whereas the cross was a circle that ended up pointing out in all the cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, and spreading across the world. Nevertheless, the respect of the Oak Brethren for the natural world was something he could respect, for it truly did have power in it. Power provided by God. Yes, he did say, I will never let that go. He was very sure that he would not let that go. But he was willing to admit they were onto something, and he could respect it. Lord, thank you for giving me my friends Andrew and Dior. Even though they are not quite with you, they do recognize the power of the things that thou hast created. And so life has continued decently. Everyone is more or less doing fine. Now that they have a shrine, Andrew is no longer feeling unhappy. And Deor realizes Deor is content now that he actually has somewhere to pray to the elder gods. And Sigmund, too, is happy. He's happy he can worship the Lord as well. Alright. Best not to botch that one. So this little colony has gone from being a place of contentment for one man A man who loves God, as probably would more or less have been understood by medieval people. And certainly by post-Renaissance people. Wow, we've got 40 meals. How many of those are meat? 3 at the moment. And how many pies have we got? We got 5, 10, 15... We got 20 roasted meat. Where the It's all there? Oh my. That's a lot of dog food. We don't need that much freaking dog food there. I say we keep going until we research preserving food so that I can make shelves for things. Especially look at all this leather here. Holy buckets. And we're gonna have more food coming in, too. So preserving food's probably going to be perennially useful. But for now, our 2 heretics and our Christian here are getting along fine enough. They're making things work, and the 2 pagans. Pagans, heretics, there is a difference between the 2. I should stop using those interchangeably, because that's wrong. Because a pagan is somebody who worships, well, pagan comes from the Latin word paganus, meaning a country dweller, so it's essentially the Latin equivalent of a country bumpkin. So these 2 bumpkins here can go worship their nature gods. Never mind. Talking about religion is always fraught with danger, I think. But what can I say? I like to live on the wild side. You know, it actually does occur to me that I can't build a fermenting station there, because I've got the door right smack in the center. What was I thinking doing that? Crap. Anyway. Go fix that, please. Sorry for fobbing that up, but please go fix that. Alright. Yeah, I'll be able to cram a few workstations into here, which ought to be a little pleasing to them. And allow them to, well, despite religious tensions, make things go about as smooth as they can get it. What else can we do, then? How's building going, Andrew? We nearly have a fermenting station. You know, there is one thing that unites pagans and Christians. And I know this as a Catholic, and I definitely know this as someone who's part Polish, and whose mother is, no. I'm part Irish and part Mexican. That means there's already tequila and, to some degree, there's already tequila and Guinness in my blood. Oh, not to mention German beer and French wine. So there's booze in my blood. That being the case, I understand alcohol's good, and pagans, of course, I mean, they invented alcohol, because, I mean, they invented mead, they invented wine. I mean, beer has been around long before Christianity was ever a thing. In fact, that's why, I mean, that's half the reason why wine is a sacrament, because wine is a good thing that has been around longer than civilization has. And I know that, and I'm certainly not averse to it. I don't understand Protestants who have a problem with wine, because wine and alcohol and spirits are great things, and shouldn't be taken advantage of. I mean, well, what am I trying to say? You shouldn't be... I mean, you should be careful around them, because you can, of course, abuse them, but... just because a thing can be abused does not mean it's evil. You can abuse lots of things. You can abuse sugar, you can abuse bread. I mean, you can abuse food in general, frankly. But that doesn't make bread and sugar and wine inherently bad things. Maybe they are bad for us to use in all occasions, but... anyway, I'm kind of just rambling. But hopefully, anybody who sees this stream can agree on one thing. Alcohol is a good thing. Even if not for them, it is a good thing. It has the ability to help people through their days and more positively to make good times better than they were when they started. But with all that discussion of alcohol out of the way, I think it's time that we put up some shelves. Alright, and that we do some gardening as well. Easy does it. Do it while they're flowering, because although you won't get as much cabbage out of it, we want more seeds. Actually, while we're looking at the animals, is there anything that we should definitely make them... we should definitely make the pet do? I don't know of anything that we can do to make him eat meat, but... I wonder if there's any way to limit the pile of meat by any chance. I should probably do some reading on how we get animals to eat different things than they otherwise would. It's probably in the wiki here somewhere, now that I think about it. Fauna. Animals. Dog. A well-trained hound is a justifiable status symbol. That's not very useful. You know, there is one thing about this dog. It does eat plenty of food, although not nearly enough to justify having a stockpile of meat out here. And, you know, I also think I should... Putting a tile of floor under there probably would help some. But what can he do for us? He can haul things, which is great, but is there anything else he can do? Because he needs to do more than that. He hasn't attacked anything yet, to my knowledge. Didn't we have some marauders here, and was he any help at all? Oh, wait, no. That was a wolf we had earlier. And he was no help at all with that, so maybe we don't need him? Would there be any problem with just killing him, I wonder? Not that I want to, but... Really, this is more a lament about the state of animals at this point, or at least the lack of information that I have on how to make the most of them, I guess. On the bright side, at least we are getting things off of the floor. And a fox has arrived, and do I care? Probably not. It's not a manhunter fox, I hope. It'd be nice if it weren't a manhunter. If that's even a thing in this version of the game. May not even be. That may just be RimWorld. Which, you know what, I would be totally fine with. If there are no manhunters in this version of the game, I probably would be fine. Now I am going to go ahead and see if sleeping there is a problem for Dior. If it isn't a problem, I might go ahead and move or even just put beds there. If we get more travelers coming. Before I go, though, I do definitely want to make sure that these guys are producing some booze. Because again, alcohol is something that Catholics and pagans both love. Because it's done a lot of good for both of our religions. I mean, let's be honest. Anybody who isn't a teetotaler or an alcoholic can surely admit that alcohol makes good times even better. Getting semi-riotously drunk is not just a rite of passage, but even just part of being a healthy human. And lest anybody think that that's an exaggeration, sheep get drunk too. True, they may not be able to create beer. Sheep may not be able to create beer, but that doesn't mean that they can't, and slept outside is definitely a problem. Yeah, so we definitely need to create more sleeping space. But apples, okay, so fermentation is a process by which food rots. Food rots and it develops alcohol content. When food rots and becomes alcohol, when food like fruits or grains ferment and become alcohol, they become something that an animal like a sheep can pick up off the ground and eat, and they behave weirdly because of that, and that's sometimes alright. There's an interesting film on YouTube, actually, of a squirrel getting drunk and not being able to cling to a tree. It's kind of funny. It's funny, but it also shows animals can get into alcohol too. Rightly or wrongly so, I don't know, but it is a thing. And it's a sign that alcohol is not something made by the devil or whatever term you want to use to vilify it. Alcohol is a natural part of life. Now, some Protestants will say that we shouldn't support the drinking of alcohol simply because alcohol wasn't nearly as strong back in ancient times as it can be now. And there may be some truth to that. In fact, there probably is some truth to it, honestly. Because distilleries, of course, weren't a thing until the High Middle Ages. Yeah, Catholics are the ones who gave you grain spirits, so if you like grain spirits, you like something that Catholics put onto the planet. So be thankful. More seriously. People have a problem with alcohol, and say it should not be any stronger than it was in Bible times. Well, I don't know that that's necessarily true. Because alcohol, even in a concentrated form, can be good, so long as you don't overdo it. And we have a decent sense of what overdoing it looks like. When you lose faculty of your reason, that means you've overdone alcohol. It does mean that you can only have so much alcohol before it becomes immoral to have it. But sometimes for... excuse me. Sometimes for some of us, a shot of rum does us more good than a glass of wine. Especially if rum happens to be our favorite and wine is not. Rum just makes another variety of alcohol that people can enjoy. And of course, I need not say that rum is not the only variety of alcohol. I'm in a portion of the Catholic Church which came from the Episcopal Church. There is an inside joke among us. Hey! Taco trucker, hey! Welcome, folks! Forgive me for not noticing you earlier. Hey! Cool. Welcome in. Oh, no. Forgive me for not noticing you earlier. I realize it's much too late and you're probably gone now, but thank you for stopping in. Taco Tucker and LHR Live or Die. I really should pay attention in future, but thank you for stopping by. Okay, I'm gonna rearrange my windows so that... Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed popping in. I hope my content hasn't been horrible for you. Okay, no, seriously. But yeah, let's attend to... It's been interesting for me. I've been enjoying... Hey, thank you guys. Thank you, LHR. Thank you. I hope this has been entertaining for you. I like talking politics and other dumb shit. Not seriously. I mean... Kinda, because this is what goes on in my head, but you can take it or leave it. You don't have to like what I say. I don't like everything I say half the time. Because I'm honestly just thinking things out while I'm talking. But do I know any of you in real life? Do I know any of you from church? From St. Barnabas or St. Cece's or ICC? You can probably guess where I am just from those terms if you... Not that anyone probably really cares, but anyway. But it's good to see some folks here. Thank you guys for stopping in. So, I'm curious what you think of this, of a couple of pagans ganging up on a good and honest Christian. I'm kidding, you probably don't think anything. You don't need to think anything of it, but... I think a military installation is probably the thing, considering two of the guys are military men, and, well, they've got a stockade up, so... Oh. That's a problem. Okay. In case you didn't see this is a lone traveler, and he's already carrying way too much if I just... give him a bunch of crap. So I need to think, what can I take off of him just to unload him? Okay, that's not quite enough. So, Taco, Tucker, and LHR, hey, where, so you're a raid, so where did you guys come from, if you don't mind my asking? And what were they playing? You got me curious all of a sudden, because I like learning. I like learning about other people. If you're still there, let me know. Otherwise, I will be getting off in about 20, because that's the bedtime I try to set for myself. But if you're still here, I'd love to know. Oh, I see. Okay, so you're also playing Going Medieval. Awesome. Same as you. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for joining me, gents. I hope you... yeah, no, there are many things that are on my mind, but I can't think of them, and at the same time do this trade deal here. You can see I'm making him carry too much by giving him all the crap that I've got here, so I need to think for a second here. But, okay, so if I take all these limbs... Okay, now he can carry, but... Okay, so it's the saplings that are weighing him down, but now I don't have enough resources, so what do I do? Maybe give him some stew. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, no. So, yeah, no, I'll go check out your channels and see, if, yeah, no, maybe I'll go see what you guys do with your time and what you do. I am kind of curious, though. What draws you to Going Medieval? Do you also play RimWorld, or what interests you about this game? What kind of projects are you working on? I'm willing to give you a platform, because this is a cool game. And I like RimWorld, but this does well for the moment. And, okay, so I'm trying to buy something that I can't afford. Okay. Selling, buying, crap. Okay, what is something I'm trying to buy that I probably barley, honestly, is something that I can't just throw saplings at him for and get. Okay, so if I do that, okay, I can get 3 barley and okay, there, we'll just have to accept that, I think. Can I? Yeah, no, I can't get any more without... This is really stupid, because this is bad, well, TV. Yeah, this will do. Okay. And now we're dealing alright with the philosophers of the natural order, who, you know... The founder of this settlement, Sigmund, he's an intellectual. He's also a member of the Restitution, which, again, that aligns. So, it's natural he should want to get on with the philosophers of the natural order. Maybe we'll get some of their caravans, maybe get some book deals going through, you know, Sigmund's encyclopedia of all the facts you can discover while you're sitting in the middle of a storage room. You know, sell some signed copies of that. You know, every book publisher's dream, selling from the front door of his palisade. I think it's a good idea, don't you? Seriously though, man, no, it's really cool, and it's cool to be raided, and yeah, no, thank you for joining me, and I have so many thoughts going on at the same time, forgive me. It's unusual for me to have somebody on, and maybe you can see why, because I'm not organized to think about such things. Is there any chance that we can get you to trade something else? Because honestly, we need barley. We need more barley, and we need to give you something. Seriously, anything, man. Is there anything we can give you? Okay, you know, why not? You know, some of that meat's just gonna rot anyway, so why not? You know, sure. And certainly gonna hunt more of it. This hunting... Perfect. Excellent. All right. So we load him up with pies and stuff, and so we lure the philosophers of the natural order into our trap by fattening them with all of our baked goods and stews and stuff. Oh yes, this is truly malevolent. Actually, I don't know that I'm trying to be malevolent. They seem like nice guys. Yeah, no, food, drink, it's all wonderful stuff. If there is one thing that both Catholics and pagans can agree on, that maybe their Protestant brothers can't, okay, we can agree. Food and drink are great things. And you know what? Maybe there is hope for this colony, even though these guys really got to deal with their paganism, and Sigmund here, our intellectual, maybe kind of holds his being right above their heads, and that's maybe not charitable. But we're doing all right. We're doing all right. But we're not going to be doing all right if we don't get this booze in of doors. What do you mean we have no stockpiles for it? Nonsense. Come on. Okay, fine. Okay, I will set... Before I end tonight's, food and meat only, I also realize upon further looking that my shelves don't actually... Don't forget, shelves can't actually hold alcohol, so yeah, maybe I'd better set a stockpile for stimulants and leave fermenting ingredients where they are, I guess. Okay, there we go. There we go. Now we've got Davy Craw calling things back. Davy, actually, you know it'd be really cool. You know it'd be a cool mod. So, you see this alcohol barrel here. You see the dog. What if we could put a barrel on the dog? Eh? Eh? You know, St. Bernard's? St. Bernard's with the barrel of alcohol? Wouldn't that be cool? I could go for that. That would be... I would throw money at that. You know, at least a cent. At least a quarter at that. I'd be cool with that. Alright, already assigned to... Okay, it says assigned to another settler. This really makes me think that the pets... Well, yeah, no, that goes without saying. It would need to be smaller, but... You know, I mean, well... Something maybe, you know, like a quarter of this size. But... There's cartoons of, you know, like, dogs with... Wearing... There's cartoons of mountain dogs that wear barrels of alcohol that save people who are trapped on mountain passes, and they save them by pouring alcohol into their systems to warm them up, which isn't really true, because that would just lead to worse hypothermia, and of course they're dying, but, you know, cartoons, fun, let's not overthink things too much. On the bright side... Plenty of alcohol coming in here. You know what? Maybe we'd better brew some more. Actually, I wonder if the only reason that it was... I wonder if the main reason that it was rotting was because of the ground? If it was the ground, and then therefore, maybe a bit... Yeah, maybe it'd be a good idea to put stimulants in this warehouse that I'm working on. Alright. But no, this is really shaping up pretty well. I think if I call... I'm not gonna call it for a bit. But I'm gonna need to here in about 10 minutes or so. But... Okay, we've got a farm up. We've replanted some trees, as you can see around here. Ooh, and we've got another crop of red currants. Who doesn't love red currants? Little tiny bitter berries. Little bitty bitter berries. Little bitty bitter berries. Little bitty bitter berries. Kind of like rubber baby buggy bumpers. little exercises of, well, patience more than anything. Not just of your mouth. I could... Man, I go on too long. There is only one more thing that I definitely, absolutely must do before I continue tonight. Okay, let's have a look at the seeds that we've got so that I can plant things that I need to. Okay. So I've got... What is that thing? That it... Nice! An apple sapling! A couple of them, actually. Nice. Can I just put them there? Excellent! Excellent! And I can plant some of the ones that I've already got going. Yeah, okay, sweet. Awesome, I didn't know you could do... And we have an oak tree here. Yeah, that cannot stay. That cannot be proffered to stay. Because we need more barley. What other seeds have we got sitting here? Herbs, which we can't plant just yet. Carrots. Select the field. Let's get some more carrots in here. My goal is to fill this area with all of the plant seeds that we currently have as a result of dealing with this trader here. Do that, and I will be in a good place to stop for the night. Yeah, no, and if you want to see the other projects that I've done, and I'd be glad to see y'all's as well, LHR Live or Die and Taco Tucker. Thank you for joining me, by the way. Y'all been very kind. Thank you for engaging. It's rare to get anybody in here, so no, thank you. But if you've enjoyed it, you know, I invite you back in, and I will definitely check y'all out. Because I appreciate y'all coming in. See what y'all get up to. Meanwhile, I think this may be a good point to close off tonight with. Actually, Taco Tucker 22, you know, actually, okay, and the Philosopher's going out, that may be a good time to call it. But Taco Tucker, one more point before I go for the night. Actually, one of my previous aliases, one of my previous names, before I was Badger Lord Patrick, was Tarkin Attila 22. That's a story for another day, though. So, but yeah, no, we both had aliases with 22 at the end of it, so that's interesting to me. So, probably doesn't mean anything, but it's cool. Thank you all for stopping in, though, and yeah, no. I wonder if we'll get multiplayer for this ever. I know they said it's a single-player thing, but it'd be nice. Alright, before I go, let's just explore what we've done so far, though. So, we've got fermenting juices here. Fermenting because of temperature. Nice. Philosopher's gone. We have our main headquarters, which is all within this stockade here. Our main house, for a very long time, has been a stockpile, and for the moment still is, and is getting very, very cluttered with books. Our next project should be to build a library. Seeds are beginning to decay and are only going to continue to do so as a result of... Actually, on that note, let's expand the flax field as well so that we can finish up using that flax so that it doesn't just all go away. Oh, speaking of which, turn seeds off as well so that we can put those downstairs, and turn medicine off. And turn textiles off. So goals for next time, expand the storage room so that it can handle more useful things. Get a library up and running so that we can put the books that we've got somewhere. Empty out the present stockpile room of all of its stockpile stuff so that we can put some decent beds in, like these. I don't know how that's gonna work. That might not work. We might just need to build a new bedroom and tear down that old thing, but storage would become a problem after that, so I don't know. The one thing I'm gonna do before I go, though, definitely, is to do that. Just build a few more shelves. That alone would be very helpful, I think. And there's probably a way to get even more storage out of this, but I'm not very efficient at the moment. All of this is subject to change. None of this is set in stone, which is why I'm building it out of wood planks. He said half-jokingly, because you can tear down stone walls well enough. Alright, so, okay, a library, a better sleeping space, somewhere where people aren't going to have to sleep under the walls. Getting bows produced, also probably something we want to do as well. That's going to require wooden weaponry. That might be a distant project. We shall see how things are going. Did I even... And I should be getting bandits here. I'm kind of surprised I haven't yet, so... Anyway, though, for the time being, only other thing I want to do before I get off, build this smoker, and then I'm going to call it for the night. But thank you all for joining me. It's really been a pleasure to have somebody on, and I'll definitely check y'all out. See what y'all get up to. Maybe give my opinion, not that anybody cares. Nor should they. I mean, who the frick am I? And even if I were anybody, I mean, I don't approve of cannibalism, but I still find the cannibalism playthroughs on RimWorld to be absolutely fun. Even though, again, you don't eat humans, but I rooted for Cambiar and RimWorld Beta 18 when Pete Complete played him. You should totally check that out if you haven't, by the way. I'll type it up just for you. And, can I get into my chat here before my timer expires? That would be nice. Give me a second here. Oh, yeah, I'm not logged in for the moment. No worries. That's alright. Well, till next time, love y'all very much. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing some new streams. Please feel free to join me back here at Market Arzur so that we can make this a trading hub and a defensive area, somewhere where we can brew mead and train animals and, you know, just have a functioning outpost of civilization in the middle of nowhere, because that's what you can do in this game, I guess. I wonder if in future we might be able to convert factions to join us or to align with our beliefs or anything like that, but maybe that's just not a thing. For the moment, though, thank you for joining me. Love you all very much. Peace to you. Thank you again, Taco Tucker and LHR Live or Die for joining me. I will wish you all a lovely night, and peace to you, God love you, and see you next time on Going Medieval. And maybe I shall also do... Forgive me, some loud cretin just riding his motorcycle or something outside of my dominion. Very annoying. But perhaps I shall show you previews of more of my kingdom next Friday. Maybe sooner. I still have not decided on a day where I do something more. Tuesday is a very good candidate, but not this Tuesday as it's my birthday, and I'll be doing something for that. Anyway, peace to y'all. Love you.